Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with another Disabled Vet's Perspective, and this is the Sunday Nightcap. Wanted to do this one about the situation going on the border. You might have heard of it. People invading our country, and there's a group of patriots that have organized down there, a patriot militia. The media is putting a bad light on these guys, saying that they're criminals and that they're holding citizens at gunpoint and they're doing all these mean and nasty things to the people that they're finding. And I wanted to put some of this to rest because they're, first off, not illegal. Just to back that up, and so I'm not just stating it. In 1798, James Madison stood before the newly created first ever United States House of Representatives, and he introduced a series of articles and amendments that would be presented and placed into the newly ratified Constitution. Well, you might have heard of these little articles. They're called the Bill of Rights. Yes. And in those Bill of Rights, there's a little tiny thing called the Second Amendment. Some of you might have heard of it. And it says specifically, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Two things. One, they say they're not legally allowed to carry arms on these missions that they're doing on the border. Well, that's a falsehood. Shall not be infringed. And right to keep and bear arms is pretty specific. So that one they lose the argument on. The other thing, they say that the militia is illegal, that they are not a law enforcement organization. Well, no shit. They're not a law enforcement organization. They are a well-organized militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Well, the free state would be the little tiny thing called the United States, and they are protecting it at the border by detaining people that are invading the country en masse. And if you listen to the media, they will only show the children. Oh, look what they're doing to the children. Well, first off, they're not pointing weapons at them. They are armed, but they're not hammering down on them. They're not pointing weapons, not doing the aggressive behavior. They are being respectful and polite, and they're making the people wait until the Border Patrol can come and make the detention and the arrests if necessary. So, they are not illegal. The ACLU has decided that they are an enemy because what they're doing is they're making it difficult to move mass numbers of people into red voting districts so that they can flip the votes from red to blue. So, of course, the ACLU is pissed about that because they are working, they are a coalition that is working with the Democrat Party to establish voters in areas where they need to flip the votes. They want to get rid of this electoral college. They want to move these illegal immigrants into these red states, and then they want to abolish the electoral college. They want to get rid of that. They want to flip the vote, and they want to make it on this census. That's what I was trying to think of. Sometimes the old brain has to be kicked from the back. The census. They want to remove the citizen question. Well, it's been on that census many times in the past, and they've never had a problem with it. The problem they have now is because they want to get their votes, and they know that they're losing the low-income people that have been supported by the government are starting to open their eyes and see that it's support with a lot of leashes attached. You are government slaves once you get on government assistance. So they know they're losing that voter base, so they have to bring in one that they can control. Best way to control it is to give them money to come up to the country like George Soros does, and then when they get here, move them into red districts. Notice how they freak out when they talk about moving them into blue districts. Well, that's because they already have the votes in the blue districts. They don't need any more illegals there. They need them to be put in red strongholds. And eventually, someday, maybe the party system will go away because I think they're both irrelevant. When somebody says, oh, vote blue no matter who, well, that's an idiot, because you're voting for a party that is hell-bent on destroying the country. And this idea that, oh, it's our party against their party, it's American against American is what it is. That's the bottom line. So the whole thing is ridiculous. But these guys that are doing their job down in the southern border, they are doing it legally. So when you hear the news, these different groups talking about, well, these guys are doing it illegally and they're kidnapping people. No, they're detaining people. And they say, the one comment I did hear that made a little bit of sense is they said they can't do a citizen's arrest. Yep, that's true. They can't do a citizen's arrest because they are not citizens. They are an invading group of people. They are from another country. So they aren't doing a citizen's arrest. They are doing an apprehension of an invading force. And they're not doing it disrespectfully. So don't let the media tell you that either. So, you know, the Border Patrol is grateful for their help, and it's been said many times. And now the ACLU is targeting them. They've already arrested the leader of this group, saying that he's got some kind of felony gun possession. Well, that's already being torn apart. What's happening is they're trying to pick them off by pressuring the governor of the state so that they can go in there and arrest them one at a time. But if the courts are legitimate, then there's no threat to these people. If they're not, then, it's the next step has to be taken someday. But anyway, this was my Sunday nightcap. If you guys like what I had to say, make sure you hit that like button. We'll see if it stays on the little blue part or if it goes back to the black and white, but sometimes it'll stay, sometimes it won't. If you want to subscribe to me, I'd appreciate it. I welcome everybody. I'm enjoying having you guys with me. Make sure you hit the little bell. Maybe you'll get the notifications, and maybe YouTube won't let you, but you'll at least know I'm giving it an attempt. So, this is Easter night. I hope you guys had a great Easter. I enjoyed the time I had with my family. My wife is in California visiting her family, so I took my mother and my son, and we did our thing. So, it was a pleasant day. And, God bless everybody. It's a special holiday. So I hope everybody enjoyed their family time and got some good church in there for you. Start getting the spirit. But hey, y'all stay in the fight.